Hey guys, welcome to another Reaper blog tutorial. I've been thinking about some longer tutorials that I could do and came up with the idea of mixing with only SoundToys plugins. I have the SoundToys 5 bundle, which is like 15 different plugins. There are no surgical tools in this plugin pack, but there are some great plugins that I haven't really been using that much, and I've had this plugin pack for about a year. So I'm going to start off with a song that I've mixed before that was not too difficult. It's an interesting song. I think it's performed well. No real problems with it. Doesn't need any editing or anything like that. And because I'm only giving myself about an hour to do this, I need to move pretty quickly and doing changes that work on the big picture and not worry too much about the details. All right, so let's go through some of the tracks. I'm going to get some rough balances with just faders and see how things go from there.
Inside your head, you can't trust no one. Too late when the moment's gone. Can't go back and change your mind. Switch it off and press rewind. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. Join the queue, get in line. What's the point? I'm sick of trying. Can't trust stories told. We're all trapped in goldfish bowls, trying to work the future out. You can't reach your ambition, procrastinate your decision. When you say you will, you won't. Half the time you do, you don't. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. Everybody's falling apart. Everybody's falling apart. If it makes you feel better, we're back together, but everybody's falling apart. Together, but everybody's falling apart.
All right, so that's a rough, just faders and pans balance from 3 minutes or so, 3.5 minutes of playing the song. So you guys have an idea of what this song is, what's involved, and all that kind of stuff. Next, I'm going to make some buses, or rather folders. So one for bass, one for drums, and let's do electric guitars and acoustic guitars. Drums, bass, AC guitars, EL guitars. One more for vocals. I'm going to grab these drum tracks and shove them over to the drums, selecting the drums folder plus the individual tracks that are going into that. And I'm going to press Command F to run the action to move the selected tracks into a folder. And that action is Xenokeys/SWS set selected tracks as folder. So I use that action a lot. I'm going to grab my 2 bass tracks, and I accidentally panned those, thinking I was grabbing the electric guitars. Putting that into a folder, and you'll notice that these are automatically changing colors and changing the layout. That is something that's in the SWS auto color options. So bass is this color, and a folder uses this layout. So that's something that saves me a lot of time. I'm limiting myself to the SoundToys bundle. I'm using the VST versions. So I have Crystallizer, Decapitator, Devil Lock Deluxe, EchoBoy, Effect Rack, which is all the plugins in one rack, Filter Freak 1 and 2, Little Ultra Boy, Little Microshift, Little PrimalTap, Little Radiator, Microshift, Panman, Phase Mistress, PrimalTap, Radiator, Sie-Q, and Tremolator. So a bunch of these are modulation plugins. So Tremolator, Phase Mistress, Microshift are modulation plugins. Microshift is a pitch shifting sort of a chorus thing. Phase Mistress is a phaser. Tremolator is a tremolo, or tremolo if you prefer. EchoBoy is a delay. Decapitator is a distortion. Crystallizer is a pitch shifting delay kind of thing. Very, very strange plugin. Probably not going to be used in this at all. Devil Lock is an extreme distortion and compressor. Pretty much the only compressor in this bundle. Sie-Q is an EQ. So I'm going to put that right on the master. I know that I can use that. I'll probably have to use Decapitator on the master as well. This is going to be kind of a master bus compressor. I'm going to have to use it really lightly. I might even need to use a trim plugin before it. Well, we'll see. I could also use this in parallel and it might work. The only compressor in this bundle is Devil Lock and Devil Lock Deluxe. And those are really, really character type distortions. Got it, like distorting compressors. So might not be appropriate for this. It could probably work on the bass. Don't think it'll work on the vocals unless I do it in parallel. Filter Freak is a modulated filter. And what else is here? Radiator is another, it's a preamp emulation. You can get distortion out of it. You can use it as an EQ. PrimalTap is another delay. So I think I can use PrimalTap and EchoBoy in this, no problem. So I'm going to put in 2 new tracks, and these will be like effects tracks. So EchoBoy and PrimalTap. PrimalTap will go here, and EchoBoy will go here. I'm going to close all the plugin windows for now. And let's just work on the master bus and see if we can kind of get some interesting stuff out of this just with these 2 plugins. Let's pop those out and see what we got. Maybe going in this section here. So they already do something, just a little bit of something. You can make this brighter.
Magazine sold you dreams, modified an average queen. You can't decision. When you say you will, you won't. Half the time you do, you don't. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. Everybody's falling apart. Everybody's falling apart. If it makes you feel better.
All right, so I don't have a lot of time to do this mix, so I can't explain everything. Sie-Q is a plugin that I've already featured in a video. It's a recreation of a Siemens console EQ, vintage, very interesting EQ, not really surgical, broad strokes, just sounds cool, basically. Decapitator is an emulation of 5 different channel strips or kind of like preamps. A channel is an Ampex. E is a Chandler EMI TG channel. N is a Neve style 1075, I think it is, or 1057. Yeah, 1057. T is the thermionic culture vulture triode mode, and P is the same thing in the pentode mode. So we've got tape, so we have tape, we have solid state, I think, transformer, so if my memory serves me correctly, A is tape, E and N are transformer-based preamps, T and P are tube preamps. So let's hear this again. Way too much distortion, A channel. All right, so I'm going to leave it like that, keeping it on the Neve style, just adding a little bit of body to it. The A and the N ones are a little bit darker sounding. The E is incredibly bright, and the P mode is just too distorted. T mode is kind of in between, but I'm going to go with N and leave it at that. And I'm reducing the output so that really basically so I'm not distorting my screen capture. So that's master bus. That's about all we can do at this point. Bass processing. Let's listen to this. This is a decent sounding bass recording. I've got a bass DI and a bass cab. All right, so I'm going to put on Devilock Deluxe for this. So this is inspired by the Shure M62V Podium Mic Compressor, also known as the Level Lock. You know, it's kind of made to keep things at a really steady volume, but it does distort quite a lot. And as you can see here, I'm using it on the combined signal of these two bass tracks, and it's distorting even with the controls at basically 0. So I'm going to put the mix at 0. Let's just dial up something kind of at random. Some parallel distortion. All right, and I'm going to use the CQ on this as well. I think that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, let's leave it at that. It could maybe use some Decapitator. Let's see what this is actually doing on the master bus. No, I don't think it needs any more. Moving quickly, let's get onto those drums. We'll work on the drum bus. And this might be cool with Radiator as well. Top of all the SoundToys plugins has a preset section here. And you can get some kind of interesting things from it. I don't know, Motown Beef Clean. Too much. All right, bypassing this effects chain. Let's hear that with the bass. All right, ride's way too loud. And I think these crashes need to be panned. All right, it's a little distorted. I think we can probably get away with it. Let's see what we can do with these acoustic guitars. They're bright. I hate that sound. I'm just gonna delete that track. I hate it that much. I've never liked DI acoustic guitars. It's a crime. All right, so this acoustic guitar is going through the entire song, and so is this second electric guitar. I have that panned 30% right, so maybe I'll just do 30% right and play that off of this. As far as processing goes on the acoustic guitar, I think I'm just gonna do like a mid cut. go aggressive with. All right, this is an interesting guitar part. Let's have a look at Microshift and see if it can do anything interesting for us. Yeah, I'm a simple man. I think that will work. I'd also like to hear this with going into some echo. So let's throw this into PrimalTap at -6 post fader. Works for me. And let's look at PrimalTap settings now. So this is an interesting plugin. It is how do you even describe it? There's a rate multiplier. Every time you multiply the delay, so if I double the delay time, it's going to cut the sample rate in half. Hard to explain, but just check it out. It's a fun plugin to actually play with. So this is synced to beats right now, but it can be set to millisecond values as well. And now I'm going to change the rate down to 8. Kind of weird, right? I also need this mix up at 100%. There's also this tweak panel, which gives us different types of roll-off and different modes. Let's try the ping pong mode. Super out of time. Let's put it on 2. Set this to beats and half notes? Nah. There's also a reverb mode, so this might be the only way I can actually get a reverb. Also unlink these, so make the right side a little bit longer. Makes it a little more interesting. Let's do something with this intro guitar. I really hate that click that's there. That's just bad editing. Where is it? So I'm just going to do... is there anything else on this track? There is. All right, so I'm just going to make a little cut there and then fade in. I mean, a fade out. Yeah, just no need for a click. And I'm going to send that to PrimalTap as well, and so let's see what happens. That's interesting, but kind of defeats the purpose of having that swell up and the sudden cutoff that was originally there. Now, that I want to send to EchoBoy, and I want to do a really, really short, kind of a slap delay. I'm going to see if there is a style already. Classics. What would I do in real life? Maybe this... yeah, Memory Man. Mix all the way up. All right, so that's too long. And I want less modulation. Where do we find that? Tweak. Nope. I guess it's just too much feedback. All right, so I'm just kind of playing around with these style edit options here. I think that sounds really cool. Let's hear it in the mix.
Start again, 8 a.m. Traffic jam inside your head. You can't trust no one. Too late when the moment's gone. Can't go back and change your mind. Switch it off and press rewind. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. Join the queue, get in line. What's the...
This echo needs to be mono, so I'm just going to double click the width control. I'm going to pan it the same. So that's panned opposite. I want these panned like a little bit in. So that's giving it a little bit of space, a little bit of movement, kind of reverby sound. All right, so I wanted this one to be a little more interesting. It's playing a totally different rhythm than the other guitars, playing short and long notes, and I wanted to kind of move around all over the place. So I'm sending it to both echoes, the EchoBoy and the PrimalTap. And I'll mute those effects. All right, let's quickly work on the vocals. I'll have to put Decapitator on the vocals, and probably do the E style just so it stands out a little bit.
What's the point? I'm sick of trying, can't trust stories told. We're all trapped in goldfish bowls, trying to work the future out, living in the here and now. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better.
So that kind of pushes it forward.
Everybody's falling apart. Everybody's falling apart. If it makes you feel better, glue it back together. But everybody's falling apart.
We can only do a really gentle bit of EQ on this. Let's EQ the background vocal.
Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel.
And even we can't even use this as a filter effect. Well, actually, PrimalTap has a filter on the in and out. Just basically set our time to 0. Open up the tweaks, see more settings.
Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel. Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel. Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel. Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink.
Oh, I need to set the roll off to the output.
Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel. Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel. Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel. Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel.
All right, so I'll just add a little bit.
Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel. Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel. Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make. Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel. Well, you won't have.
All right, let's try that with a vocal.
Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel. Well, you won't half the time you do, you don't have another drink, it'll make you feel better.
So that's kind of interesting. This lead vocal, I really want
Traffic jam inside your head, you can't
a slap delay.
no one. Too late when the moment's gone. Can't go back and
It's similar to what I want, but actually it needs its own thing. It needs its own vocal effect. Something similar, but I'll probably go with the Echoplex for this.
traffic jam inside your head, you can't trust no one. Too late when the moment's gone. Can't go back and change your mind. Switch it off and press rewind. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. Traffic jam inside your head, you can't trust no one. Too late when the moment's gone. Can't go back and change your mind. Switch it off and press rewind. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better.
All right, I like that, and it needs some, not that, it needs some EQ.
Traffic jam inside your head, you can't trust no one. Too late when the moment's gone. Can't go back and change your mind. Switch it off and press rewind. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better.
This stuff's sounding pretty cool now.
Traffic jam inside your head, you can't trust no one. Too late when the moment's gone. Can't go back and change your mind. Switch it off and press rewind. Have another drink, it'll make.
Let's go back to the start, see what we got.
Start again, 8 a.m. Traffic jam inside your head. You can't trust no one. Too late when the moment's gone. Can't go back and change your mind. Switch it off and press rewind. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. So join the queue, get in line. What's the point? I'm sick of trying. Can't trust stories told. We're all trapped in goldfish bowls, trying to work the future out. Living in the here and now. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better.
All right, so I want some reverb for the snare. I'm going to try this out. It's running the effects rack and using a preset called ambient space. This is not something I've tried before, but I know that getting a reverb with just delays can be a little tricky. So let's use this as a starting point. I'm going to grab my snare up, I guess, and send this. Because I can't see both tracks on the same page, I'm just going to send it through here. I haven't named that track yet.
Everybody's falling apart.
And that's too much. Let's try something a little smaller. It's not diffuse enough. That's a lot of reverb. This is a pretty tricky thing to figure out, trying to use delays as reverbs.
Everybody's falling apart. Everybody's falling apart. If it makes you feel better, glue it back together. But everybody's falling apart.
And I don't like it. I think I'm better off using a single EchoBoy and just using like a... I know I can do something similar with a real space echo. So let's try that. I don't want any wobble. Mix all the way up. Actually, this might work. No, this is not working at all. I'll try a mono reverb. I feel like this would be so much easier with hardware.
Start again, 8 a.m. Traffic jam inside your head. You can't trust no one. Too late when the moment's gone. Can't go back and change your mind. Switch it off and press rewind. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. So join the queue, get in line. What's the point? I'm sick of trying. Can't trust stories told. We're all trapped in goldfish bowls, trying to work the future out. Living in the here and now. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. point? I'm sick of trying, can't trust. Stories told, we're all trapped in goldfish bowls, trying to work the future out, living in the here and.
All right, so I'm going to do this in parallel, putting Devil Lock here and sending from the lead vocal into this track. I'm going to do Unity and Pre-Fader.
What's the point? I'm sick of trying, can't trust. Stories told, we're all trapped in goldfish bowls, trying to work the future out, living in the here and now. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better.
Well, let's put some EQ on this.
Everybody's falling apart. Everybody's falling apart. If it makes you feel better, glue it back together, but everybody's falling apart.
It's too bad that this really cranks up the noise floor in here.
Sold your dreams. What's the point? I'm sick of trying, can't trust. Stories told, we're all trapped in goldfish bowls, trying to work the future out, living in the here and now. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. Everybody's falling apart. Everybody's falling apart. If it makes you feel better, glue it back together, but everybody's falling apart. The magazine sold your dreams, modified an airbrush queen. You can't reach your ambition, procrastinate your decision. When you say you will, you won't. Half the time you do, you don't. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. Everybody's falling apart.
And this is where I'm going to leave it for today. I've checked it in the speakers. It's sounding about the same as what I'm hearing in the headphones. And the mix isn't coming together as easily as I would like. I really need a nice reverb with this song. I am liking EchoBoy for those vocal effects. I'm really missing some surgical EQ and things like gates as well. You can do a lot of really cool things with the SoundToys plugins. And considering I've only used, I don't know, less than 12 instances of plugins in this mix, you can do quite a lot. I'm going to bypass all the plugins in the project so you can hear a before and after of what's going on with this mix using only the SoundToys plugins. So first on, and then I'm going to bypass.
Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. Join the queue, get in line, what's the point? I'm sick of trying, can't trust. Stories told, we're all trapped in goldfish bowls, trying to work the future out, living in the here and now. Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. Everybody.
So quite a transformation just using a few plugins. These plugins are not free, but they are very, very nice. As you've seen, there are plugins that are both very, very simple, such as Devil Lock with only a few different controls, or Sie-Q, which is just, 5 knobs on here. And then it gets into crazy in-depth plugins like EchoBoy, where just changing the mode makes it almost an entirely new plugin. Plus there's the style edit. There's all these styles in here. So there's fantastic value with all of these plugins. And that's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Support the Reaper blog through Patreon. And visit reaperblog.net for a lot more tutorials.